Sin City Crypto. Cash is cool, yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get.
The day is finally here. Bitcoin ETF approval day. On this show, we are going to cover the ETF news live as it rolls in. We're going to talk about the hack. We're going to talk about price action. We're going to look at charts, liquidations. Where is Bitcoin going? What are happening with altcoins? You do not want to miss today's show. Keep your eye glued to the channel, and let's get going. It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, and stale ETF news, repackage that thing up in a fun, not put you to sleep kind of way. You're going to get our hot perspective, our hot takes. Biggest day of, I would say, Bitcoin's history, right? I mean, when has there ever been this much buzz? I mean, sure, right now, Satoshi is rolling around in his grave, or his jail cell, or
in his bed.
In his bed, yes. You think Satoshi's watching Sin City Crypto right now?
No, I think Satoshi's about to join us live. We got Forrest joining us. Forrest, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Big day today. We called in the big dogs. We got a lot to go over with you guys. We told Forrest before, hey, bro. We need eyes glued on charts when we see big moves from Bitcoin or the alts. We're going to jump right to it. Once we get the breaking news, if it happens while we're live, we will break that news to you. We'll give our perspective. And let's start here. Before we start, make sure you hit the like button. Let's start here. You know, yesterday I was driving home from the studio and I saw the tweet. ETF is live, right? I saw this tweet. This is the tweet I'm talking about right here. This is the tweet I saw. And I had to screenshot it from my phone because it's now deleted. So I saw this tweet. Today, the SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national securities exchanges. And everyone saw this tweet. Call Robin. I was like, bro, the ETF got approved. Oh, my God. He's like, no way. I'm like, oh, my God, yeah. And then, like 5 minutes later, I'm watching my friend James Seyfert on Bloomberg. And they break the news that no, their Twitter account was hacked. So I called Robin, hysterically laughing. I said, I don't even know if this is something that screenwriters would be able to come up with for a movie or a book. And that was this. So this was that tweet from Gary Gensler. The SEC.gov Twitter account was compromised and an unauthorized tweet was posted. The SEC has not approved the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin exchange traded products. So there's speculation. Were they really hacked? Right? Because they were hacked and then they got it back in like an hour. A lot of people are saying it doesn't happen that fast. Robin brought up the point. What did you say yesterday about?
I was saying that they're a government agency. And so the communications with X, because they're a verified government agency, that's why they have the gray check mark there. And for that reason, I'm sure that they can get their account back or they can contact somebody a little quicker than, say, a traditional just user like me and you. I mean, yes, we got blue check marks, but they're also paying thousands of dollars for their government issued one per month. And I don't know. I know for companies, for was it the gold check mark, $1,500 a month is probably, I would assume at least that. For the government account. Anyways, you paying for extra customer service that moves a little faster.
I don't know if anyways, we're not going to get into that, but go ahead.
But yeah, they're a government agency. I'm sure they have a little quicker communication.
But we know the FBI did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Files. Now, my thing is, and people are saying, there's some people saying, hey, this was a queued up tweet that someone sent early. Some people are saying it was hacked and someone used it to make money. But to me, the latter does not make sense, because if I'm trying to make money, instead of saying an ETF got approved, I would say an ETF got denied.
Yeah.
Right? because that move to the downside would happen a lot quicker than it moved to the upside would. Forrest, do you have any thoughts on this? And then we'll get into more as far as what people are saying could potentially be happening.
Yeah, initially with the timing of it too, it came out at like 4:11 p.m., which is exactly when you would. In fact, it's pretty much when we would expect the ETF approval announcement to happen today, sometime after the close of trading. I've heard 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, but I've also heard sometime after trading today. So 4:11 p.m. Eastern time would make sense there. So initially, I thought it too. I was in the camp that this was not a hack, and that this was just an intern or whoever's managing the social media for the SEC, queuing up the tweet a day early and getting the date wrong, because it was exactly a day before what we would have expected. I do think that tweet was in the draft folder. I do think that was a legitimate tweet, and that the hacker just ended up getting on, seeing it in the draft folder, and sent it out early. But yeah, I agree. If the hacker was trying to make money, just send out a disapproval tweet. It's like this hack was so sloppy, which is really bizarre, because this hacker was like liking random tweets, which the SEC doesn't do, and was also, I think, like put out like just a hashtag Bitcoin tweet like right before the approval tweet, and then like quickly deleted it. So it doesn't look like this. This almost looks like just an opportunistic hacker, somebody that was just trying to like show off, show that they could do this, but not somebody who is necessarily trying to extract money from the market from this, which is interesting. So, but yeah, I mean, the Twitter team did confirm that this was indeed a hack, a compromised account, which is really funny, because I don't know if you've seen the screenshots of Gary Gensler recommending that everybody secure all of their accounts with two-factor authentication. Yet, you can't.
I must have missed that, for
SEC account.
No way.
You missed that?
Yeah. I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. Of course.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. We got 2FA on ours.
I want to know who it was. If we find out who hacked the account, we should get him on the show, bro. What you think?
Yeah.
I want to give a little love to the chat here. If you are new, say hello, so we can drop an hola back at you. We do got K. Jettle, Sirzania, your new stepdad, Red Moon, Shankar, Sobito, also Mikatu, and to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. We have a new whale member as well, Simon W3MCT. Welcome to the whale member club.
Arr, she blows.
Yeah, that was good, man. You feel excited, man? You excited?
A lot of time. My brain is it's like those highways that have 20 tunnels and bridges, and it's going this way, and you look at the traffic like, where the hell are these cars going? That is literally what's happening inside my head right now. So big shout out to all of you that support the channel. Big shout out to our newest whale member. We'll get you your discount code. We'll get you access to our whale member Discord chat. So hop in there, ping me, and then you also get your name in the credits, and you're supporting the channel. So thank you so much. And also want to give a big thank you to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. You want to learn how they can help your business scale, grow, and maximize your networking and IT and cybersecurity. You're going to want to visit bluewiretech.com. There is a link in the description of this video for you to check out. Now, speaking of videos, there was a lot of accusations going around. Here is one of them.
Decision yet. Okay, and so I'm just going to reiterate it one more time. It would appear that X has been hacked, that the U.S. government, the SEC, has not been hacked.
So they're trying to blame the Twitter platform, right? It was not X, right? And this is from the X Safety Twitter handle. We can confirm the account at SEC Gov was compromised. We have completed a preliminary investigation. Based on our investigation, the compromise was not due to any breach of the X system, but rather due to an unidentified individual obtaining control over a phone number associated with the SEC Gov account through a third party. We can also confirm that the account did not have two-factor authentication enabled. At the time, the account was compromised. We encourage all users, and here's that tweet you talked about for us from our man Gary Gensler on October 24th, 2023. This is a reminder to secure your financial accounts. Remember to use strong passphrases, set up multi-factor authentication, keep account alerts closed, or keep account alerts turned on. Do as I say, not as I do, apparently, at the SEC. Then we have this from Charles Gasparino. Securities lawyers tell Fox Business the SEC will have to investigate itself for market manipulation. This is like a story that just writes itself. Hey, the agency that's supposed to investigate people and hold people accountable for manipulating markets, go ahead and investigate yourself and then let us know what you find. That's great. We also had this from Senator Bill Haggerty, who's the chairman of the, I believe, the Oversight Committee.
I can't.
Just like the SEC would demand accountability from a public company if they made such a colossal market-moving mistake, Congress needs answers on what just happened. This is unacceptable. And then we have this as well, tweeted from Senator Vance's press secretary. Senators J.D. Vance and Tom Tillis demand explanation for the SEC's errant announcement of the approval of Bitcoin spot ETF. They say, quote, "It is unacceptable that the agency entrusted with regulating the epicenter of the world's capital markets would make such a colossal error." I want to stop here and I want to ask you, Forrest. We saw Bitcoin on the initial announcement go to 48K and literally just dropped right down to 45.2. What was that? What did that look like on the charts? And what were the I know a lot of people talked about liquidations. What did those look like in that time window? I know a lot of people are saying there was a crap load of liquidations. Longs got liquidated. That's what drove the price down. What did the on-chain statistics show?
Yeah, let me take a second to share my screen here and let me know if you guys can see this.
Yeah,
okay?
we're good.
Sweet. So I've got actually both Bitcoin, because there's an interesting story here. We've got both Bitcoin up here on top and then ETH. And this is where you can actually see that we're on the 5-minute chart here. This is where you can actually see the announcement, the fake announcement. We saw Bitcoin spike up to $48,000, which honestly was a little bit underwhelming in terms of how quickly this and how high I would have expected this to go. But it does seem like traders figured out pretty quickly that this was a false tweet. And then we crashed back down. Now, it's unclear at this point to me whether or not the original plan and the way the market, if this was a legitimate tweet, whether the market was going to sell off after the news anyways. And I've kind of been in the camp of like getting a big wick and then a full retrace and potentially some downside and then kind of leveling back out. And that's essentially what we've done in large regard. So Bitcoin, is liquidations down to 45K, 44.7. And we've come back and swept that low, right? As of, I believe it was this morning around 8 a.m. Eastern time. And now we're coming back and we're trading at, pre-announcement levels. So essentially, all in all, no damage done to price, but damage done to some traders via liquidations, which we'll go over in just a second. But interestingly, it looks like money flowed out of Bitcoin and has been flowing into Ethereum, which does make a lot of sense. This Bitcoin ETF has obviously been the biggest bullish catalyst for Bitcoin, while Ethereum has been kind of kicked to the curb while everybody's been pouring their money speculating into Bitcoin. Whereas now, once this is behind us, we would expect the catch-up trade for Ethereum to maybe balance back out. Now, as far as liquidations go, I'll go over to Velo data here. So we are at almost the 24-hour mark, so we're almost going to lose this granularity of the data. But yesterday at 1600 hours, or essentially 4 p.m. Eastern time, we did get a total of $10 million in liquidations, and we had some long liquidations and some short liquidations. Actually, this is the opposite. I believe this is short liquidations and then long liquidations down here. We saw both sides run, but if we actually zoom out, this could have been a lot worse than it was. And I'm not saying that it's not bad. I think the fact what's going on here with Gary Gensler and the SEC is horrendous, right? But if we actually go back to earlier in the week, this turns into just a little bit of noise. It's obviously a big liquidation, but it's nothing compared to the long liquidations we saw earlier in the week, where we saw that big spike down. And that's because essentially what happened with that first big liquidation, and I'll go back over to my Bitcoin chart to actually show you guys this one right here. This one on January 3rd, where we just spilled over, that cleared the books, right? There was a ton of open interest. There was a ton of longs open. All the longs that were open, and funding rate was very, very high. People were paying a premium to be long on Bitcoin. This liquidation cleared the open interest, cleared out a lot of leverage, and it started to obviously build back up, but was much, much lower than what it was over here. So the liquidation ended up not being nearly as bad or as great as we see in the Velo data chart. But still, 10 million in liquidations because of a false errant tweet or a hack due to negligence. I'll stop sharing my screen here and we can flip back over. But yeah, just errant, unacceptable negligence from the SEC. What, am I still sharing my screen here?
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Here we go.
Oh, sorry.
And I 100% agree with what the wording you're saying is negligent. It was, like I said, man, I didn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, there is literally no way that on the spot ETF gets approved and then they say no, it was hacked. But yep, there was a way. I'm gonna kick it to Rob, show some love to the chat, and then we'll get into some updates on the ETF and see where we're at.
All right. So we have 326 live viewers, 100 likes, less than a 30% like ratio. So just do us a favor. If you appreciate us streaming here on ETF Wednesday, put a like in the chat. Also, if you're new here, say hello. We can jump an hola back at you. We got Lunar Breaches, JC Rivera, Abel, Matthew, Max, the VV Zombie, and Josh. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City.
So I have this I want to share here. This just came in about 10 minutes ago. This is from Watcher Guru. SEC expected to approve the spot ETF after trading closes, which would be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then we had this from Eleanor Tourette. This was just tweeted about less than 10 minutes ago. The CBOE announcing the Bitcoin spot ETFs will begin trading tomorrow. And this is the picture she shared. So this is from their actual website. First date of trading, Thursday, January 11th, 2024. And then I wanted to share this as well. This was tweeted by Caleb Franzen. So a lot of people are tweeting screenshots from their Fidelity accounts. I can confirm that several of the Bitcoin ETFs are currently being populated on Fidelity's brokerage platform. And this is what it looks like. So, of course, trading is not open yet. But if you're still out there, if you're still one of the few people who, I have no idea why, you would still say the ETF is going to get denied, here you go. There's your evidence that it's not. We also had Gary Gensler did speak about the hack, and well, here's what he had to say.
I don't know what I'm doing or saying. My wife dressed me this morning and wiped my ass after I took a pooey poo, and I'm so disoriented that I might just have to resort to screaming and yelling to create the illusion that I comprehend what the heck I'm doing.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose. And the American people are tired of it. Frankly, I'm tired of it. Crypto is getting ready to deploy spot ETFs, and you're still sitting there sucking your thumb, wondering if Satoshi is a mermaid or a tulip.
I don't know.
And then
I missed that congressional testimony.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then damn it, where did it go? Is it right here? No. Oh, right here. So this was me this morning. How many times have you checked Twitter to see if the Bitcoin ETF got approved?
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
Probably 500. Let's take a look at the markets and where we're at. And so Bitcoin did rally from 45.3. We're currently sitting at 46.3. We had a rally up to about 46.6. So it is teetering. Let me ask you first, Rob, right? From a psychology standpoint, right? This whole, is it priced in? Is it not priced in? With all the news we're getting, with the CBOE and Fidelity has the tickers lined up, Bitcoin's not moving. So was the hype already priced in? I mean,
man, you know what? I will say, what was priced in was the pre-market move. The thing is that if you think that the markets are going to move before this thing goes live, this is where it is, right? I don't think that all of a sudden there's going to be a rush of money waiting for the possibility to go live, right? It's just right now everything's flat. We're going to stay at 45, 46,000. That's where we'll be until there's an announcement. And then at that point, it's the starting gun, right? Pops off, everybody's going to start. I'm telling you, I do agree. What we saw yesterday, we'll probably get. We'll probably go from right now, let's just say 46. We'll probably rally off the news. I go to 48, 49, maybe we'll candle hit 50. I think we'll pull back as well because this isn't actually traded on the announcement on the stock market until tomorrow. And so the money's really not there. So right now, all you have is the crypto degens speculating. So in this, I would say, short window before it goes live on the stock market, until then, you just got a bunch of crypto degens, a bunch of dudes sitting there eating Doritos, waiting to make some long and short positions. People are going to get over positioned on the longs, over positioned on the shorts on the way down. Tons of volatility. I think the real gains will be made tomorrow, though, in my opinion.
What are your thoughts, Forrest? Is this price action showing that it is priced in, or do you think we'll get another secondary pump on the actual approval news here in the next few hours?
As far as like the actual approval news go, I think I agree with Rob. I think you probably get a big wick and a full retrace, and that's priced in to the degree that you can speculate on a Bitcoin ETF being approved. So I think the approval itself portion of the trade has been priced in. What I don't think is priced in is the potential inflows that we'll actually see come tomorrow and over the next week to 2 weeks. I think this will take some time for people to realize, or to figure out how much demand is there really for this product. I've mentioned before, my neighbor is a portfolio manager at BlackRock. She was able to confirm to me that they do have and this was, public knowledge as far as, Twitter goes. Someone was speculating that, or reporting that BlackRock has $2 billion in capital ready to deploy, and they seeded the ETF themselves with $100 million of their own capital. My neighbor that works at BlackRock confirmed this. She said she didn't have exact numbers, but $2 billion sounded about right. And if that's the case, according to James Safer, the Bloomberg ETF analyst that's been covering this so well, that would blow away a lot of other ETF launches in the past. So if we get $2 billion in inflows right away, then I think that's not priced in, and we'll see those flows continue to push Bitcoin's price up.
Sorry
go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, but while you're on that, that's just one of the filers. Just one of the filers. There's 10 more.
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, though, and what the market is telegraphing and what the charts are telegraphing is that ETH has been kind of beat up and ignored because of this Bitcoin ETF. And I do think that over the next couple of weeks, regardless of Bitcoin's performance, I do think we'll see a rebalancing of that ratio. I think there is a catch-up trade in store for Ethereum, unless Bitcoin just collapses here, right? If for whatever reason everything's disappointing and Bitcoin retraces to 30, 35K, which I don't think is likely here, but if the market collapses, then of course, Ethereum probably goes with it. But if Bitcoin holds steady or even increases, I do think there's a catch-up trade to be had with ETH and the Ethereum ecosystem tokens.
Awesome. So I do want to point that, well, first of all, we had a new member join. Damn it. How do you say his name? We highlight the name.
K Jettle.
No.
Yeah. K Jettle Mo has joined the center community. So shout out to you.
It's not K Jettle. Show some respect to people's names, man. It's Kettle.
Thank you.
Anyways, we do have this. So what are the odds, huh? What are the odds? Today, on this day, what is that, 15 years ago? Hal Finney tweeted, running Bitcoin. This is the, what are the odds, right? What a coincidence. What are the odds? Just pretty interesting. Now, some updates on what is going on with ETF. We have this from Eric Balkunis. BlackRock has just cut the fee on its spot ETF to 0.25%. and 0.12% for the first $5 billion. They're really going for the jugular here, looking to crush the others because before they even born, just brutal. ARK has also cut to 0.21. Bitwise currently the lowest at 0.2. So these large asset managers who have trillions of dollars, they're undercutting each other by 0.01%. By 0.01%. That is how important this ETF is to these people, right? I mean, that's at least what I think. Why would it be important for you to keep adjusting your prices down by 0.01, 0.02%? You got to go file another paperwork and do this and that for 0.01%. To me, that says that this is going to be the most successful ETF launch ever. That's what I think. Rob, you got any thoughts on this before I move on?
Yeah, I mean it's the free market doing what it does best. I mean, you can look at gas stations. One gas station across the street's $4, the other one's $3.50. A no-brainer where people are going to line up to pump the gas. Same thing here for another open market, which is Bitcoin. And so if I can go buy Bitcoin, you charge me 0.25% here, and the other place charge me 1%. It's a no-brainer, especially if I'm moving that institutional size money. I'm coming in with $10 million. That 0.75% is massive, massive. If you're moving $100 million, then at that point, that 0.01 is massive. You know, that's a big chunk of change. And so the free market's the thing is this is gonna pour over into the exchanges as well, right? Because now the exchanges gotta compete, right? If I'm sitting here paying 2% on a transaction, if I'm paying 2% to an exchange offshore in Singapore to buy Bitcoin, I mean, you got to take into consideration, maybe I'm buying 10 Bitcoin. I don't plan on hodling for eternity. So I want to just get exposure to it now, exit my position at the top of the market. If I'm not going to self-custody, if I don't need self-custody because I'm holding it for eternity, then why not just buy it on the stock exchange at 0.25% if the competitor, the traditional markets and the traditional crypto markets, the exchanges, if they're charging 2% for a Bitcoin transaction, it kind of makes sense. Hey, I'll just buy it here and then I'll sell it at I'll sell it during the next bull market and then realize my profits from the exchange. I don't have to worry about any third-party risk outside of, do I trust BlackRock to go under in the next year and a half? And I feel pretty confident that they're not going to go under in the next year and a half. So with that said, shoot, buy it there, save some money, at least if it's compared to an exchange.
I forget whose Twitter, I think it was Grant Cardone. And something about, let me just pull it up right now. Pull up Grant Cardone. Because I tweeted this, and a lot of people are saying, hey, look, the Bitcoin ETF is not good. Here you go. If you want to own Bitcoin, would you want an ETF, especially after today's SEC self-admission? And so here was my reply. If you want to own Bitcoin, you want to own it, you won't need an ETF as you can self-custody. But if you only want exposure, right? If you want to speculate on price and only want exposure, then an ETF is a great vehicle. As long as both options are available, it's great. Mass adoption isn't possible without ETFs. I said but without ETFs, vehicles like
honestly, if you're gonna save money, I'm just being real. If you're buying right now to enter and exit what you believe would be the upper area of a bull market. So hey, I want to buy here at 40,000. I want to exit my position at 120,000. I want to realize a 3x profit. I think that's a doable strategy. I think that's something that will play out. And if that's your goal, why would you pay 2% on an exchange overseas, take a third-party risk of that exchange going under, or you can pay 0.25, go with the ETF? I have to agree, man. I mean, I'm all about self-custody. I self-custody my own Bitcoin. But hey, if I'm pulling a trigger on millions of dollars and I'm losing out on potentially $1 million or plus dollars in fees going to traditional exchange, I'll do the ETF. Why not?
What are your thoughts on this whole conversation and narrative for us that ETFs are bad for Bitcoin, and the government can come in and just like they did to the Americans with gold back in I believe it was the 30s, right? So people think we got off the gold standard in 1971. No, we got off the gold standard in the 30s. It's just in the American public, right? The people couldn't redeem dollars for gold, and then the final nail in the coffin was in 1971 when countries and other central banks could not redeem their dollars for gold. So really starting in the 30s, right? 1930s. They're saying, well, if they did that with gold, they could do that with ETF. They can go to BlackRock and say, hey, hand over all the Bitcoin you got, and they're just going to pay people back in dollars. If they see it as a true threat to the hegemony of the dollar. Do you buy into that narrative? And if that's the case, is an ETF just bad then? Well, why do we even have an ETF?
Yeah, so there's two different conversations being had here. And I think a lot of people, and I've said this many times on the show, a lot of people confuse the idea of like what's good for your investment returns versus what's good for the underlying ideology of decentralized money and decentralized custody of a digital asset, right? I've said many times where it's like there's a certain level of decentralization past which, like, oftentimes you'll see it's not great for an asset's price, right? And in this case, we're seeing a perfect example of where I think, obviously, in an ETF, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it threatens Bitcoin's decentralization in a massive way quite yet. We're not quite there yet, but I'd argue, I think there's an argument to be made that like you don't want most of Bitcoin's supply held in the custody of these large asset managers that have a lot of money and power. Like, I don't think that's an unfair argument to be made. But on the same hand, this is extraordinarily good from an investment perspective. If you want your Bitcoin to go up in value, right, while it may become slightly less decentralized or a little more centralized, or there may be a threat to the government stepping in and confiscating this Bitcoin and paying you back, whatever, right? And it's the ETF itself is a very centralized alternative avenue of getting exposure to Bitcoin, and it could absolutely cause problems later on down the road. But if you just want Bitcoin's price to go up, there's nothing like this is the most bullish thing that could possibly happen for Bitcoin, right? We just talked about those fees. For the first time in history, the incentives of 11 of the largest asset managers in the world, including BlackRock and Fidelity and the huge asset managers with tons of money, their incentive, they make more money the higher Bitcoin's price goes and the more they shill it. The more that they advertise Bitcoin and get people to buy Bitcoin and push the price up and get inflows into their ETF, they earn basis point fees on that. And those fees might be, trending towards zero or trending lower and lower because they're fighting with each other. But that's competition. We're seeing competition play out in a market for shilling the Bitcoin ETF by some of the biggest players in the space. So, yeah, I think it's two different conversations. If you want Bitcoin's price to go up, this is the best thing that could possibly happen. If you want maximum decentralization for Bitcoin, this is probably one of the worst things that could happen.
I'll say that.
I don't think it's like going to destroy Bitcoin by any means, but I think it's two different conversations.
I'll say this. Keep in mind that even if these percentages go even as low as 0, the sheer exposure and the client operating with your company is a massive benefit. You can look at Costco, for example, right? They don't make any money on those hot dogs. They don't make any money on those chickens, right? But you sign up for that $50 a year membership or $60, whatever it is. It gets you in the door. You spend money inside the company. Sure, they're operating at 0 profit, maybe even a loss by offering this popular product, which is the roasted chicken and the hot dog. In case y'all don't know, if you're overseas, you can buy a hot dog for like $1 and a chicken for like $4. It's insane. Mathematically, it doesn't make any sense. But with that said, you get people in the door, you earn new customers because they're coming for that product. And so if you're BlackRock, sure, maybe the fees go down to 0. But if all of a sudden you're over here and you have an account, or you're buying stocks through BlackRock, the next time you're realizing profits, and you're like, hey, where should I go? Maybe I should diversify and put some into a gold ETF. If you already have money in a Bitcoin ETF through BlackRock, more than likely you're going to just go with the gold ETF next, right? Or perhaps you're going to look at their company in the future when you're looking to invest elsewhere. And so this is all one big marketing ploy. So don't this competition, it's good for Bitcoin's price and just to circle back on what you were saying, it could be a threat. We were in a Twitter Spaces yesterday with Charles Hoskinson, and he addressed his concern with the decentralized situation that is going to arise from this ETF, because now you have the largest asset managers in the world. You have a company that would rank numbers, was it 5 or 6 on the global GDP if they were a country, and they're controlling. They're gonna more than likely have the biggest, if not one of the biggest, wallets of Bitcoin. And so if they decide they want to implement a new BIP, a change proposal for Bitcoin, and they get behind it, they have a lot of voting power. Or if there was some kind of fork to the network and BlackRock got behind that fork and said, hey, we want to secure this fork, this is where we're going to put our hash power or our voting power or our influence, it could start a domino effect. And so, it is concerning, something to think about. But for today, we're going to talk about price, because that's what we're going to see in the short term. Maybe this is a long-term negative for decentralization.
Here's the thing,
Bitcoin.
though. Here's the thing. If you now have exposure to Bitcoin via spot ETF, right? You see the value of it. You start to, where it first starts is it going to make me money? Makes you money, catches your attention. This is kind of cool. Think about when you first bought Bitcoin or crypto, right? Your friend probably told you, look how much money I made on Bitcoin. You're like, I want to make a lot of money on Bitcoin. You go out and buy Bitcoin. You wait. You make a lot of money. You're like, this is kind of cool. Then you start researching and watching videos and watching channels like Sin City Crypto. And then you're like, this is actually really good. And then eventually, slowly, if you're in the space long enough, it goes from just wanting to make money to, yes, I want to make money, but I also care about the network. I also care about what it stands for, and giving me an outlet away from the traditional system that we've been in for decades, centuries. So that could potentially happen as well. People talk about gateway drugs. Meme coins are the gateway drug to crypto. Well, a spot ETF could potentially be a gateway drug for people to really dig into Bitcoin, what it does, what it can do, and eventually start to realize, hey, yes, I have exposure, but I want to own the Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and go and buy from an exchange or redeem my shares, or however the ETF works, to be able to get the actual Bitcoin, move it to cold storage. And so that is kind of what's going on through my mind. Also, if you are new to the channel, we have 456 viewers, only 165 likes.
Yeah. Smash the like button. 456 viewers, that's it's quite a large number for us. I do want to say that if you are a bot, a robot, or a paid subscriber, please put Ola in the chat. We'd like to know, where are our robots and where are all the people that we paid for to subscribe?
Robot.
That's right. Let's get an Ola train going. I want to identify all the robots and paid subscribers that we have in the chat.
But it doesn't count if you only identify as a robot. You got to be an actual robot. Okay, while you do that, we have a couple more pieces of news I want to share, and then we'll get into the market. So, Forrest, if you want to queue up a couple charts, my friend, I know ETH is making a run. Doesn't make sense to me. All eyes should be on Bitcoin. Damn it, I don't want to be wrong, and it's already January of this year. I said Bitcoin would outperform all the major altcoins. But we have this from Eric Balkunas. Happy ETF approval day. For real this time. To all those who celebrate, as far as we know, it's all systems go, most likely as we see formal approval ballpark 4 to 6 p.m. today, which is what we talked about. We had this from Charles Gasparino. One senior executive at a major Bitcoin ETF applicant tells Fox Business that the SEC had informed the firm that the fund will be approved today. However, he added that this caveat. So the senior executive at one of the major ETF applicants told them, look, we're hearing the SEC has told us that we're going to get an approval. But he also said, quote, this is Gensler, so who the F knows when this happens? So even the AETF filers have no idea what to expect from Gary Gensler. And then the man that keeps on giving us great content, none other than CEO, JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, who has said Bitcoin, if he was the government, he would shut Bitcoin down, then apply to be an authorized participant for BlackRock, which means they would be the ones to buy, hold, and sell the ETF shares, go out and actually purchase the actual Bitcoin. And he was asked again about Bitcoin, and this is what he had to say on Fox Business.
There's also new regulation coming on Bitcoin, and you famously said recently that you would shut it down if you were in government. Can you give us more clarity on that?
Yeah, what I was also pointing out is that the actual use cases are sex trafficking, tax avoidance, anti-money laundering, terrorism financing. It's not people just buying and selling Bitcoin. There's no value to if you're buying and selling Bitcoin.
A lot there from Jamie Dimon and
dude said sex trafficking. Like, come on, bro.
Like, who
is he ever going to change his mind?
Who is pulling up to the truck stop, throwing Bitcoin out that window? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is pulling up to that truck stop? Like, how much Bitcoin for a good time? Like, get out of here! Stop it.
I heard once somebody bought a fireworks with Bitcoin, illegal fireworks.
Oh wow, that's
illegal fireworks.
Crazy, man.
Forrest, any commentary on our friend Jamie here? Forrest, can you hear me?
Hey, sorry, I was pulling up a chart and I thought you were talking to Rob. My bad.
Oh, it's all good, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same argument. It's the oldest argument against Bitcoin ever since the Silk Road, right? That was like the big site that was used for selling drugs and other contraband with the Bitcoin as the primary currency. That's just a stupid argument because Bitcoin's super, super traceable. If you want to go after a cryptocurrency for that, you should probably go after like Monero or Zcash. But I still stand by people's right to use those currencies. I think the right to private finance is everyone should have the right to private finance. And then the other thing is just like, this is such a stupid argument too, because the amount of all of these illicit activities that are transacted with dollars is far greater than Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. So it's just like, you can make the same argument against the US dollar. The US dollar is used for sex trafficking, it's used for drugs, it's used for war, whatever insert illicit activity there. It's just a stupid argument.
Okay. Forrest, I know I told you to queue up some charts. I do want to share this real quick before, and then we'll hop over to you. So this is from Into the Block, the in and out of money around the price of Bitcoin. And here you can see currently at the 40. So as we go further along these price bubbles, right? So we're currently at between 46.3 and 46.447. That is the end of money, and there's currently 324,000 Bitcoin addresses. Overall, currently, over 73% of Bitcoin addresses are in the money, and only 22% are out of the money. And I want to share this little heat map here as well. So the more green you see on the screen is the more wallets that are in the money. So example, back here in, where was this? December 2016, you had over 96.5% of wallets that were in the green. And of course, people start taking profit and the price starts to tank. Where we are currently right now, and I'll zoom in here so we can see where we are currently right now. We're entering that 80, that 75, 80, 90 plus territory. So with that being said, Forrest, historically we've seen as more people are in the money, obviously people start to take profits, and then we enter into a new cycle with the bear market. Is this troubling to see that so early on, right, in the bull market? We haven't even had the halving yet. We are already starting to see a vast majority, again, over 85% currently in the money. Is this a troubling sight to see, or do you think this could be, a lot of people call a super cycle with the ETF, essentially here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly worried about this. I mean, look at how much positive, you go back to September 2020 in this chart, right? It was very, very elevated at that point in time. And then we still had a ton of upside for Bitcoin. and then we had a huge drawback, and then we still had a new all-time high to be put in. I think this is a metric that can stay elevated for quite some time. If people are underlying bullish on an asset, even if they're in the money, they may not sell. I don't worry too much about this. And I think, look at September, you look at that late 2020, a lot of people were in profit. A ton of people were in profit, and it stayed elevated while Bitcoin ran from 20K to 60K. Also, this is just going to be a byproduct of breaking all-time high, right? If the all-time high for Bitcoin is $69,000, right? And we see Bitcoin's price go to $70,000. By definition, this metric will be at 100%. Nobody could have possibly bought at higher than the all-time high.
I did.
So
I did. I did.
Okay.
I bought the top of the top. I'm kidding.
The top of the top.
Joke.
But you know what I mean? Like the metric is if you're going to break all-time highs, this metric has to go to 100%, right? Everybody has to be in the money at some point for a very brief window of time once you break the all-time high. So this isn't something that I'm too worried about. It's actually probably a good sign. It's just a byproduct of us on our way to break the all-time high.
Awesome. I'm going to throw it to Rob to do some love to the chat, Robin, and then Forrest will get those charts going.
All right, so we got 2 different members gifting 10 memberships. We got Brokioshi and Mike Volmer giving away memberships. So big shout out to you guys. If you are new here, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. We got Life of Grandmaster Troll, Red Moon, Renee, Mornay, Kelvin, Chad, EDU, Crypto Corey, David Becky, Lunar Beaches, SB Chad, Auntie the Great, and Myron. Also, Buzz Hernandez, Misco, as well to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City.
All right, Forrest, we're sending it to you, my friend. What's price action looking like? Are there any trade setups you're looking at where you can maybe share with our community?
Yeah, so we're seeing a breakout in Ethereum right now as we speak, and I was talking about this on my live stream this morning. I think this is going to like 2,800 to potentially 32, even maybe 3,500. We're seeing this rotation of money into Ethereum after this Bitcoin ETF has essentially been approved, unofficially so far. We have this huge ascending triangle, this big ascending triangle that has been forming for a very long time. And then we broke out above it, and we've just been consolidating, and Ethereum has been lagging behind everything else, in large part, in my opinion, because of this Bitcoin ETF kind of being the distractor away from the Ethereum ecosystem. Everything else has been running. Ethereum's been lagging. But this is essentially one big bull flag on the top of a big ascending triangle. Super bullish. And then the other thing that's happened, and of course, look, Bitcoin still rules the roost. If Bitcoin crashes for whatever reason, it'll wipe out Ethereum with it. But all signs are pointing towards bullish ETH right now. One important one is we just took out huge short levels. So this kind of zone that I've highlighted that we are breaking through as we speak, and I'd like to see the daily candle close tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time above this level. If so, I think we probably see some acceleration out of Ethereum and the ETH ecosystem. So all like the L2s and everything, and eventually NFTs. But this level, this red level, is where the market can go 2x short, can short on 1x short, can short on 1x while maintaining a liquidation point above Ethereum's all-time high. We've just broken through that level, which is telling us that the shorts are not confident that we're not going to all-time highs. Now, I don't think we're going to all-time highs, quite yet. My targets initially are going to be 2,800 to 3,200, roughly 3,000. But the shorts are not piling in here. The longs are winning. The longs are beating back the shorts. The bears are losing this battle at this line. It's also an important level because off of our last kind of dead cat bounce, our lower high in the right side of our head and shoulders pattern, coming out of the bear market, going into the bear market, coming out of the bull market. We also had a 2x short level roughly around the same point. So we have just 2 massive short levels that have just been taken out. You can see how much resistance they were, up until this point. We took, on this big initial ETH run, that's where we found resistance. And then we stabbed twice and we closed those daily candles all the way back down in this consolidation region. Now, for the first time, it looks like not only have we broken our previous highs on our candles, our previous wicks, it looks like we're hours away from closing a daily candle up above this level, which would be huge. And you can see how much of a gap there is in terms of structural support and demand in between here and 3,200 and even 2,800. So very bullish on ETH right now. I actually, as we I've been long yesterday after the Bitcoin ETF news. And that kind of chart showed that I brought up earlier, comparing Bitcoin and Ethereum after that liquidation event and after the fake announcement, you could see the money piling into ETH. So I went long into ETH, and I just compounded that long as well here with Ethereum breaking out, expecting to hopefully be able to close that up towards 2,800 or 3,200.
Awesome.
I'm curious. I was going to say I'm curious on. Our production team over here is excited. Are y'all excited back there? Y'all been really quiet back
there. Yeah, very excited. Yeah, woo.
Yeah, woo. Excited. The ETF is almost here.
Wow, you're excited? Tell your guys' faces. Forrest, I wanted to ask you, can we look at a Bitcoin chart on the lower time frames, maybe a 5 or a 15-minute time frame? If I want to take a position on Bitcoin, and then where would you, and I know it's not financial advice, but if it was you, looking at the lower time frames, you want to enter into a trade on Bitcoin, what would you be looking to do? What are the lower time frame charts saying Bitcoin as we near the approval here in about potentially an hour?
Yeah, so I'm sharing my screen once again here. Look, we just back tested this breakout. So we had all of this horizontal resistance. We had this false breakout, and this was that huge liquidation that we got on January 3rd that just kind of wiped out everything. Everyone was kind of freaking out, and then a lot of altcoins continued to bleed back and fill that wick in on their charts. Bitcoin coming right back up and then kind of breaking out yesterday. And then here on the shorter term time frame is yesterday's fake announcement, right? And then we kind of bled back and found support on the back of this. This is really interesting to me. There's some worry that we would see some bleed out after these Bitcoin ETFs approved, and we're seeing ETH Bitcoin outperform. We're seeing some altcoins kind of explode here. My biggest worry with entering after that kind of fake announcement that kind of sparked a Bitcoin bleed was like, all right, is this a sell the news event in the sense that we're going to see money rotate out of Bitcoin and more interest go into altcoins for the time being? And then, maybe Bitcoin consolidates or bleeds off. But after earlier today holding this horizontal level, right? I think Bitcoin's, I'm still a little bit cautious here. And I think the obvious trade right now is Ethereum. We're seeing Ethereum break out. We're seeing everything, ETH Bitcoin ratio pop off. We're seeing L2s perform really well today. I think that's the more obvious trade. But the fact that Bitcoin held this level and got such a strong reaction off of it makes me a lot more comfortable. Now, I do expect some volatility once we see the official approval. I think everybody at this point knows it's in the bag. But in case we see some liquidations happen, I think wanting to buy that same exact level or just a very simple trend line, right? We're seeing this very, very simple trend line coming. If we came back down to roughly 44, 45, 44.9 to 45, I think that's a fair place to look for a buy. I would say that's a little bit aggressive. My big question for everybody that's buying today on the approval would be like, why didn't you, we knew this was going to happen weeks ago. Why didn't you buy at 42? Why didn't you buy at 37? So I would kind of question why people would be buying Bitcoin today of all days. But that's just me. I'd be a little bit more cautious at these levels. And I think your better buys were back at 40 to 42. Once we kind of knew this was in the bag, but that's just me. I think 45 is probably reasonable.
That is a good question, Forrest. Why were you not buying? Why the hell were you not buying at 42 if you knew the ETF was coming? Were you listening to the people that said ETF was getting denied? Shame on you. You should have been watching us. We've been telling you this damn thing was going to get approved back in November and December. We have a couple things I want to show here. So first of all, Bitcoin ETF speculation written into the Bitcoin blockchain, paraphrasing Satoshi. So if you didn't know, for every so Bitcoin, let's say you're new to crypto, and if you are, welcome. Our community is amazing, by the way. If you're brand new and you just don't understand some of the things we're talking about, throw some questions in the chat. Either we'll see it and answer it, or one of our community members has been around for a while, Will. So we understand there's going to be a lot of new people coming to the space, and we want to do the best job we possibly can to make everyone on the same knowledge level. And we do that by sharing news, and we do that by answering questions. So Bitcoin, 100 million Satoshis is one Bitcoin. Each Satoshi, you can inscribe something on it. Well, this person inscribed the text, quote, SEC chairman on the brink of second ETF approval into a Bitcoin transaction. And this is what it looked like. And why is my mouse moving so slow? So here's what that looks like, inscribing something on a SAT. There you go. And then a couple more things I want to share. This is from James Safer. This was tweeted about 30 minutes ago. We have all 9 new ETFs with their DES pages on the Bloomberg terminal. The one thing I didn't see on the CBOE was BlackRock's, but again, this is from James. Still not a done deal. We need those 19B4 approval orders and effective S1s. So looks like things. It's essentially a matter of, hey, we got to file the right paperwork. We got to do the right thing here.
You know, I just want to remind the viewers here that, you know, this is still at its core Bitcoin. It's just wrapped up in a fancy new kind of packaging and marketing that people are just getting behind. You know, ETF's very trendy right now, and it's no different than oh, never mind.
Than TradingView.
Yeah, no different than TradingView.
No different than Robin's Dell computer. When are you gonna buy a new computer, man?
Leave my computer out of this.
Literally every show, at least once, it's not working. I think it's time to buy a new one. Guys, we're going to start a fund on Twitter, Robin's Laptop Fund, okay? And once we get a big sponsorship, we'll refund you the money.
Okay.
I'm kidding. We don't want your money.
So,
we do want your money, but no.
Just like a repackaged up
computer.
New
hopefully.
product. Yeah. So we got new White Claws with 0% alcohol.
Huh.
It's just like a sparkling water with light
No way.
flavored, right? Yeah. Just like a Bitcoin ETF.
Wow.
Still the same product.
You
Just
know,
wrapped up in a fun and sexy new way. There you go. Why
like-
would you buy a White Claw with 0 alcohol?
it's
Just-
like
Just buy a Pellegrino.
No, it's like paying for a escort and saying, "Hey, can we just cuddle?" No, you want to buy White Claw, you buy it because you want the booze, not because you want non-alcoholic beverages and look cool in front of your friends. We have this from
You
Eleanor.
think you look cool drinking White Claws, David? I'm just, no.
You drink White Claws. I don't. As much as you make fun of me for what I eat, look at what you drink.
I do like a good
You drink
White Claw.
Coors Light, White Claws, and Celsius. Or not Celsius.
Yeah.
What's the other one? The BS little girly drinks. Anyways, the SEC Gov, this is from Eleanor Tourette, said it's involving the FBI and the Office of Inspector General in its investigation into Tuesday's hack. I did share a lot of senators are putting Gary's feet to the fire. Could this be the final straw? And Gary Gensler, can he either be ousted or be forced to resign? And if that happens, can we get someone in that's even more bearish on crypto? Probably not. They'll probably be a little more, at least, willing to work with people. Not just going out and suing every single damn exchange and every project out there. Maybe decide to work with them. And can that potentially lead to more ETFs getting approved, maybe for Ethereum? We've heard XRP getting an ETF, something like Chainlink, Solana, who knows? But we know that this is not good for Gary, and what is not good for Gary is good for our industry. And so this was kind of interesting. So we'll see what comes out of that. And then I wanted to share this, right? A lot of price targets being thrown around. This is Tom Lee from FundStrat. This is on CNBC. Listen to what he had to say. What he thinks Bitcoin can get to with this ETF.
Yeah, just to end on, give me your 1 year and 5 year price target for Bitcoin.
I think in the next 12 months, something over 100,000, maybe 150,000. And, in the next 5 years, again, there's a finite supply. And now we have a potentially huge increase in demand with a spot Bitcoin approval. So I think in 5 years, something around 500,000 would be potentially achievable.
Boris, let me ask you first. Let's start with the 1 year. In 12 months, 150K. Is that undercutting it, or do you think that's right around where you're kind of thinking? And of course, this is all speculation.
A little bit on the high side. A little
You
bit
think
on
that's
the
on the high
where
side?
I'm thinking.
Why are you so bearish on
Yeah, I'm
Bitcoin,
thinking
man?
about-
Forrest, you understand,
I
bro.
think an asset's going to 3x.
Yes.
3x.
Forrest,
3x.
we
is
got
bullish.
BlackRock lining up $2 billion to drop into this thing on the first day. You don't think it's going to grow? I don't know about exponentially, but you don't think it's going to grow massively as people start seeing, hey, I just bought a Bitcoin spot ETF. My portfolio is up 60%. And we're talking not tens of thousands. We're talking about millions of dollars. $114 trillion is being actively managed by money market funds or by companies like BlackRock. You don't think those people are going to see their friends and family who have access now to Bitcoin ETF? They're going to be like, well, I want to make some money. You don't think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that will happen, but I think the end result will probably be somewhere between 125 and 150.
You are crazy,
that's a
bro.
3x in price.
You are
that's
crazy.
a 3x in price in the next year, in the next 12 months. So by the end of 2024, in the next 12 months, I think a 3x out of Bitcoin would be a massive win. I think that's a little on the on the high side too. I think 150K by the end of this year. If that I'll be thrilled. Don't get me wrong. We get 150K by the end of this year. Like, there'd be no excuse for me to not be retired with my crypto exposure that I've got. I'll be thrilled. Trust me. But I don't know. I think, you start getting into like 200, 250K price targets, it gets a little bit iffy. I mean, remember, we only last market cycle, which was a big market cycle, and we had quantitative easing on our side. We went from 19K, roughly 20K, previous all-time high, to 70K, roughly all-time high, a 3.5x. Every single time we've seen diminishing returns. Even if we got a 3.5x off of our previous, so yeah, 3.5x off of 69K, that would be like your 250K targets. But we've gotten diminishing returns every time. I think 150K. I think 125 to 150K is like solid Bitcoin performance. And these asset managers are thrilled to have a 20% year. They're over the moon to have a 20% year on their portfolios. If they add Bitcoin and Bitcoin's up 100% or 200% at the end of the year, they're sellers. I don't think that they're buyers at 150K. I think they're sellers. If they get in at 50 and it goes to 100, I think they're sellers.
But okay, Forrest, we know last cycle we had Sam Bankman-Fried Alameda Research. It is a proven fact. They were trying to quell the price of Bitcoin. They were trying to hold it down. So I don't even think, like, if you look at market cycles, you go to the 1 week chart on Bitcoin. You look at the cycle from 2012 to 2014, 2015, then the 16, 17, 18, and then it did not look like anything we've seen. It looked like it's like we had a breakout, right, to about 59, 60K. It came down a little bit. Then we were supposed to get another big run up, and then we only got to 69. Very weird. And we know why. Part of it is Sam and Alameda Research. They were hindering the price of Bitcoin. Literally said, we got to keep the price of Bitcoin down. So I think that just like when the pandemic happened, everyone's locked in their homes, people are being handed over money by the government, but you can't do anything. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open and bam, I think that's what we're going to see with Bitcoin. The last cycle top, the last bull market, in my opinion, was quelled, right? There was outside forces pushing the price of Bitcoin down, and it wasn't true money exchanging hands and traders trading and people speculating, right? There were people like Sam who were pushing the price down on purpose. For what reason? Who knows? So I think we're gonna have that pent up, like, we didn't get that blow off top. We're gonna get that now. Add in the institutions, add in the billions of dollars, add in the trillions available sitting in freaking S&P funds that's getting you 6%. That up until 2 years ago, you weren't even outpacing inflation. Bro, I think 150K. Forrest, if Bitcoin by January 10th, 2025, if it is over $150,000, would you get a Bitcoin tattoo?
No, but we can bookmark it and we can make a bet for sure. I just think so. One of the other reasons that you run into like these diminishing returns is once your purchasing power of Bitcoin goes up so significantly and Bitcoin's at 100K, 120, 130, 140, 150, that money starts to leak out of Bitcoin. People start to rotate capital to speculate on other stuff. Like, and that's why I think everybody was always overshooting the last cycle targets and the cycle before that. Everyone always overshoots the targets because they don't account for the fact that once Bitcoin goes to, and maybe not a lot of these asset managers be taking profits on the ETF to go and speculate on altcoins, but all the crypto natives, it happens every single time where you start to see this cycle where Bitcoin dominance just collapses. Bitcoin dominance rises at the beginning and then it just collapses because people are rotating out of Bitcoin. They're like, oh, Bitcoin maybe has a 2x left. Maybe it has another 50, to 100% left, and they want bigger returns. So then they go to altcoins, and that kind of hurts Bitcoin. And I think we're getting to a bigger and bigger altcoin market where there's more and more utility in a lot of these altcoins, other networks, where it's more attractive to speculate on alts to some degree. Once Bitcoin's price goes up and you've ridden Bitcoin up, I think we'll see the same thing. But yeah, let's bet on it.
Real quick, Rob. Real quick. Guys, we know why ETH is pumping. Congressman Michael Collins reported buying ETH today. This is tweeted by Altcoin Daily. All jokes aside, looks like he purchased a little bit, around 1,000 and 15,000, and then some more, between $15,000 and $50,000. Interesting. Does he know something? We know the track record of politicians buying things and trading stocks. They know something.
And then friend of the channel, the Wolf of All Streets, is he's made his prediction. Gensler will probably drag this out till 11:59 p.m. Eastern time just to be a dick. I actually
thank you for that breaking news.
I
Rob.
think I kind of agree with it, man. What do you think?
No.
They do have till midnight.
They're not going to do it at midnight.
They have till midnight.
They're not going to do it at midnight. Stop it.
11:59 would not be.
No, they're going to do it at freaking 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, Robin,
I think you're closer to midnight.
I'll ask you this question: 150K in the next 12 months, and he said around 500K in the next 5 years. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think Bitcoin's going to get to by?
I think over 100K this year makes sense. I do think that there's you've looked at the analytics and showed them time and time again. There's a massive amount of Bitcoin holders that their average buy or that picked up at $20,000, and I think that there's just going to be tons of money sitting. There's going to be tons of people that are sitting in millions of dollars worth of profit that are going to take profits once Bitcoin crosses the previous all-time high, 65,000, 70,000. I think that people are going to start clearing profits off then. Also, I think that you're going to have a big sell wall at 100,000, right? I mean, how many people are going to come pile in at $100,000 Bitcoin, right? I think that right now, if you see it at 40,000, 45,000, even if like Forrest was saying, people come in and there's a flood of money buying Bitcoin,
dumping.
And it's dumping, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if there's a flood of money coming in, people are buying Bitcoin at 40 something thousand. At 100K, they're well over a 2x. In less than a year, I think that there will be massive selling pressure, plus the people in our ecosystem, the DJs, the people that are holding Bitcoin the traditional way through their own seed phrases, I think are going to take profits and buy some more speculative stuff. We see it in every single market, right? Every time we've had a 4-year cycle, Bitcoin rallies, price gets suppressed, people take profits, they buy alts, speculative stuff, Lambos, NFTs. That's what happens. I don't see why this is going to be any different. Now, how high will it go? I think 100,000 is on the table. I don't think 200,000 this year is plausible. I mean, Bitcoin will always surprise you, but I do think crossing the all-time highs this year is on the table. I think that's likely. And I also believe that up to 100,000 is something that I would expect.
If Bitcoin doesn't cross all-time highs, doesn't make new all-time highs this year, I will get a tattoo of, I don't know. I'm just getting a lot of tattoos.
So what were you saying? You think Bitcoin's going to go that this year?
It'll be Bitcoin will get a new all-time high this year.
No, I'm saying, but what did I know you were arguing over there with Forrest.
I didn't throw a price out. I just said 150K, I think, is
So you
on
think
the lower side. That is
you think
my
that's on
worst.
the lower side?
That is my worst case scenario for this cycle. And I know Forrest was talking more in terms of the time frame, right? 12 months. I think 160, 170 we can get to by the end of by the beginning of next year. You're going to get more quantitative easing. You're going to have the halving. We're going to be right in that time frame of when we start seeing Bitcoin absolutely rally.
We do have the elections coming up too, and I think this is going to be crypto.
They're going to prop up the markets, man.
Crypto is going to be a big focus on that.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of eyes on BTC. Forrest, what the hell's going on, man? Bitcoin dumping 45.2. Whoop! I want to know. You watching? If you're selling Bitcoin, why on God's green earth would you be selling Bitcoin just moments before an ETF goes live? Who would sell? What are you doing, Forrest?
Traders.
What's can we take a peek at a Bitcoin chart here? While you pull that up,
while you pull it up, Ahmed, Farid, Diamond, R2, Milky, Crypto 99, Shizzy, NE, Florida Man, Sugar, Shane, Cody's World, The Mask. The Mask also says, stop yelling, David. King, G, and Eddie. To all of you. Hola! Welcome.
Mask, I'd like to apologize to absolutely no one. What Conor McGregor said. Anyways. Forrest. Oh, there we go. Bro, we're dumping,
so
bro.
Bitcoin kind of, there's volatility. A lot of this, any price action between, we'll even give it down to 41K and up to 48K is going to be speculative noise that's driven largely by perp bids, right? Maybe not that wide of a range, but certainly the range that we're in right now. It's a lot of news buyers taking profits. It's a lot of people waiting for the bot to give the headline and speculating here that are just like this entire move back up, right? Or this entire move here. This was super speculative. So the fact that we fully retraced this move or almost fully retraced this move to me isn't that surprising. Like again, like that, it begs the question, right? Like why buy now versus buying like last week or a month ago or down here at 37,000 back in the beginning of December.
Jesus
right?
Christ.
You have a lot of people
Forrest,
Bitcoin is not an investment for them.
I'm sorry, Forrest, just real quick. What is going on? So CBOE is removing listings of earlier listed ETF. What's going on?
Oh, that could be why as well.
Yeah. People are so fickle, and I understand. The bots, they read headlines and they put in orders, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. The other thing is you've got a lot of actors in the space that are not long-term Bitcoin investors. And this has been a trade for them. This has been, they probably zeroed in on this back in November, back in December, when it became extraordinarily likely that this Bitcoin ETF would get approved. They might have bought the breakout at $38,000, and now it's trading at 19% higher than what they bought at. And a 19% trade is, from a swing trader who isn't buying Bitcoin for its long-term, path. They're just, they've been holding a trade open for a couple of months. It's been a profitable trade, and they're just closing it, and they've just been trading this event. So you're going to have a lot of profit taking whenever you have, a big news event like this.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling through Twitter to see what the hell's going on. Guys, listen, you're going to see a lot of Twitter feeds, right? You're going to see a lot of accounts posts. They got to prove that. Dude, don't. I'm going to show you which account that you need to follow if you want your ETF updates. Here's number one. Go follow this guy, right? He doesn't tweet BS. Works for Bloomberg. He's been on our show multiple times. He's the ETF analyst at Bloomberg, James Seyfert. So this is his Twitter handle. Follow him. And the other guy is his colleague that you're going to follow. So these are the only people you should be listening to and following to get your ETF news, okay? Don't get wrecked by some idiot posting stuff he has no idea what he's talking about, okay? So these are the people you should be following for ETF news, because these are the guys that are plugged in, that follow the, what form means what, and the people are saying, oh my God, it got listed on CBO. No, it has not been listed anywhere, okay?
Right on cue to interrupt this show with unnecessary gifs and memes. we have, what is the SEC doing these days? SEC, Crypto Bros. And we're live. No, we're not. No, we're dead. We're live. It's a good one. No.
Ah, yeah. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome. Yeah. Also,
no, not you, Gary. I was thinking Gary.
Oh, okay. Well, big shout out to all of you that are new here. If you are new, say hello so we can drop an hola back at you. 450 people in the chat. 250 likes. Good turnout today.
Yeah. Let's take a look at where the how the rest of the markets are. So Bitcoin rebounding nicely. 45. A lot of volatility, which is a trader's dream, right? 45,778. ETH again. ETH is the biggest gainer in the top 10 here, up 8.5%, almost 8.5%. Over the last 24 hours, we have Solana under $100. What a great buy for Solana, under $100. If you believe in the ecosystem and what they're looking to do. Cardano at 51 cents. XRP stablecoin at 57 cents. AVAX under $35. And Doge rounds out the top 10 at 7.8 cents. There was some rumors that the Doge Kabosu passed away, but I didn't see anything on because I follow the lady who owns the dog. I didn't see anything on her Instagram about the dog passing away, so that could all be fun. But take a look at Bitcoin dominance, 52.5%. ETH dominance, which was under 16%, is gaining steam, currently at 17.2%. And then we have the 24-hour trading volume, $98.5 billion. Just to put it into perspective, when FTX collapsed, this volume was over $200 billion. Forrest, do you have any other charts you want to share with us or any on-chain stats? Or we can take a look at liquidations. We could take a look at anything, any on-chain or wallet holdings or charts you're looking at. If you got anything, please, now's the time.
Yeah, I think one I'll share a Blur chart because I do think Blur is pretty bullish here. As you know, exposure, it's kind of like proxy exposure to Blast, which is a layer 2 that they're launching for like NFT trading. And I do think if Ethereum rips here, eventually we see some moves back out of NFT. So I'll cover that. And then the other one I do want to cover is looking at the market caps of USDC plus USDT, so Tether plus USDC. And if I draw out like where the new year has come in, just, we're seeing acceleration through the new year. And I'll also, just for reference, I'll compare, I'll throw on Bitcoin's price, right? And oftentimes you see Bitcoin price rallies. Let's kind of zoom out here. And maybe I can find some Bitcoin USD for Bitstamp price scale. There we go. I see what's happening here. It's because we only have limited data for USDC plus USDT. That's fine. The point still stands, right? Whenever you see new money being printed on chain via USDC or USDT, that's indicative of inflows into, capital inflows into the crypto ecosystem. USDT is used to purchase, crypto on a majority of exchanges as a seed. They're both used on chain on Ethereum and a variety of other chains as well. So whenever you see this chart go upwards, it's pretty bullish. And then obviously, prices going down can cause, decreases in stablecoin, new stablecoin issuance. But the underlying idea here is it's not too indifferent from the Fed printing money and the S&P 500 going up. If there's more money in circulation to buy stocks, right, then stocks usually go up in price. Well, if there's more USDT and USDC in circulation to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, then usually you see, crypto and altcoins go up, or Bitcoin and altcoins go up rather, and crypto go up as a whole. So we've seen Bitcoin, which has just been consolidating between 40 and 45K, but then we've seen in the new year, these huge prints of new Tether being new Tether and new stable coins being printed. So I think this is a really interesting chart. That's one of the more bullish charts that I'm tracking right now. A lot of this money is probably going to go directly into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's going to push the price up. That's my guess, at least. Again, Bitcoin ETF thing I say, guys, like I know I'm pretty bullish right now with good reason, but look, it's a very volatile day today. We could close the day at 40K or 38K Bitcoin And that's just due to volatility, due to trading and profit or speculators taking profit. But over the next couple months, I am pretty bullish that Bitcoin is able to and crypto is able to rally. And then the other chart that I've been really paying attention to is Blur. I think Blur is a pretty decent trade here if you're looking for Ethereum related. It's in this kind of what I would refer to as a big bull flag here, and I don't know what's going to happen in the short. If Ethereum rips to 3,200 or even 2,800, I do expect a big breakout out of Blur, and I think it could go to 70, 80, 90 cents to some of these. To tackle some of these previous levels. Same thing goes for a lot of L2s, Matic, Arbitrum, Optimism. I just happen to think that Blur is one of the more attractive plays out of all of those.
Awesome. Thank you, Forrest. I do want to give a big shout out to Redman. $5 super chat said, Sin City Crypto, best show in crypto. Thanks, guys, for going over. Your hard work's paying off. Thank you, Redman. Redman has been part of our community for a very long time. Been to our studio multiple times. Hung out with the guys. Super cool dude. Redman, we love you, my friend. Thank you so much. And then I do want to share this tweet. So we showed you guys, and we're kind of sharing this stuff as it comes live, guys. So we're trying to give you all the most up-to-date recent news possible, and that is why we've gone almost 30 minutes over our usual time. But this was the whole CBOE, it got delisted. Apparently somebody jumped the gun. What is going on? What the hell is going? Stop jumping the damn gun! Jesus Christ! Everyone's fat fingering everything, tweets and this and that and. Anyways, so people are confused. What the hell's going on? Don't worry, my friends. Again, this is why you should be only paying attention to these guys. I'm not going to look too much into any of this. I'm still waiting for those 19 B4s and S1s to come in. That will be your approval, right? And let's take a look at where Bitcoin is currently at. We got Bitcoin $45,622. As Forrest said, you guys, a lot of volatility today. So, be careful. Don't get wicked out of your leverage trades. And if you are going to leverage trade, make sure you do so.
I will say this. Today, we get the ETF to go live.
You're going to get a tattoo?
No.
I don't have one.
First of all, I want to pop a bottle of champagne, right? But we don't have a bottle of champagne. Jimmy actually gifted us some cool bottles, but we don't have any in the studio. We took them all home. But I did have this Corona here. I was going to pop this thing open, maybe spray it around the studio. But anyways,
do not spray it around the studio. What is wrong with you?
So
hey, I wonder what is gonna pop up when the ETF is
Seriously,
for
what is wrong
Ethereum.
Anyways, if
Bitcoin is a Corona for the
I'll
ETF.
say this: if the ETF goes live later this afternoon, you'll get a special live stream from Big Rob. I'll be at my house and I'll pop open a bottle of bubbly and stream from the casa. And we can all kind of break that down as it goes down. So
thank you for breaking that.
And I was hoping it was going to go live today, man. I had the Corona ready.
It is going to go live today.
I mean, I read it during our show. Yeah.
What is wrong with you, Gary? Are you trying to rug our show? Speaking of show, I did say yesterday we were going to have a big announcement. We are doing a special live stream on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be all around trading. Leverage trading, this is in partnership with BingX, and I'm just going to share this with you guys. The 100X with BingX live trading show, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You do not want to miss it. We'll be putting in live trades, some leverage trades, some spot trades. We'll be going over the market, so do not miss it. We're super excited for this. Could we get some TA from Rob, too? Potentially, you're going to have to wait and see.
How about the production team? Y'all excited back there?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Real close up there. Cardano or Bitcoin, Rocco? Make your damn pick. Well, you can't.
Both of them.
You got both. You got both.
Yeah, because it's
Can
I recognize myself as
can we get Ashley
multi-crypto
some merchandise? Like,
yeah, of course.
We got Bitcoin sweater.
The Cardano is because of yesterday. The Crypto Billy, Charles Atkinson, and then Bitcoin for the ETF.
Bitcoin.
I give a space for everybody.
94 Clip said, "My middle name is Leverage."
That's it.
Well, you should join us on Monday night then. Guys, if you enjoyed today's content, Make sure to subscribe to the channel, ping the notification bell, and we will, like Rob mentioned, you never know, something happens. We go live on the fly. You do not want to miss that. Also, if you enjoyed Forrest's insight, his charting, his being bearish on Bitcoin, just kidding, of course. Visit Sisting Research on YouTube. We did pin that link in the comment section in the live chat. Also, go follow him on Twitter at Sisting Research. I think that's all and want to give one more big shout out to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you want to learn how they can help your business scale and grow, visit bluewiretech.com. Great show today. We hope you got some great insights, some updated information. Again, guys, do not trade on BS tweets. Only pay attention to the people that matter as far as ETF goes, and I shared those with you guys. Go follow us on Twitter as well. And with that being said, Rocco.
That big dough, so every day stay tapped in for big facts, no cap in. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win.
Guys,
no
thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We hope you enjoy the content. And then make sure to come back. Usually it's Forrest Bring Forrest on Fridays. Today's Wednesday. Come back tomorrow. We got Frankie Candles joining us. Gonna be a fun show. So to all of you, thank you. We love you guys. Until tomorrow. Peace.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no cap in. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fractions. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I?